It's casual, not formal. It's hosted by Rory Pendlin. Oh, and Renee in tow. It's time to start the show. 1, 2, 3, go!
Hello and welcome to another episode of It's Casual. We had some tech gremlins, which caused us to get out a little late. And I am now fighting with my computer to send a presentation to Renee, which I cannot find.
Oh, isn't that fun? Well, I'm here to save the day because while you do that, I want to disclose something. And it's unfortunate that I got here too late to put my camera on, too late to put my face on, as it were. But I wanted to say this. I am this massive Howie Mandel fan. I'm a massive AGT fan. I mean, I'm obsessed. I know everything about AGT. I know everything about Howie Mandel. I've read his memoir, obsessed. And here's the thing. You have a guest tonight who is an international superstar. I mean, globally famous. He won the biggest prize on they call it the biggest stage in the world, and it is. The AGT, America's Got Talent stage, is the biggest stage in the world. It is the biggest talent competition in the world.
He was there. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is this is absolutely incredible. And of course, I'm familiar with his work, as millions of people are familiar with his work. He's very funny. He's very witty. He has fantastic stage presence. He's just an amazing talent. And to have him here on It's Casual is a huge deal to me. So I want to thank you for that, Rory, because you are an amazing talent scout and booker, and you go off and you Eddie Brill it. And you Eddie Brilled it. You Eddie Brilled it tonight.
Well, thanks. Again, I was lucky enough to have worked with Andy many, many years ago and had a horror story to share with him to get him to reel him in, so to speak. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Do you have the clip of him doing comedy on America's Got Talent? This is one of the auditions, I believe.
Right. So let's watch this, and this is going to be great.
Whoops.
Hi.
Hello. How's everybody?
Good. How are you doing?
Very well. Thank you.
What's your name and where you from?
Andy Huggins. I'm from Houston, Texas.
Tell me about your day-to-day life.
I do crossword puzzles, Sudokus. There's at least 5 naps over the course of the day. I love my damn naps.
So is this the big dream?
To do stand-up on national television? Absolutely big dream.
Good for you. Well, good luck. Good luck.
So, I reached my sexual peak 38 years ago. I'm down to 1 shade of gray. 2 if I catch a nap in the afternoon.
You don't get it?
No.
Sex is still exciting. I never know what's going to happen first, the orgasm or the foot cramp. There's some advantages to being my age. Frequently, people will stand and offer me their seat, which is great on the bus, a little creepy in the men's room.
He's good. What does that mean?
Don't offer him his seat. What do you mean? What does that mean? The toilet.
No. Oh.
Just broke up with my girlfriend, Lori. Lori loves role-playing in the bedroom. Once she was Catwoman and I was Batman. Well, Alfred. So, I will pay anybody $15,000 to find me a lady friend. Now, she has to be kind, she has to be fun, and she has to be wealthy because I'm going to owe somebody $15,000. Thank you very much.
He does have that Alan Napier look about him. I love that.
Oh my gosh. It was I remember I saw that when it aired. And I remember saying this guy could win the whole competition. I said that to my mother. I said, I think he could win the whole kit and caboodle. He was that good. He was tight, polished. And he also did the unexpected because he was older. I think a lot of people didn't expect him to go blue, and he's working blue, and
Yeah.
it's just fantastic. And he's here. He's backstage.
Yes. Let's go ahead and bring him up. We're going to talk about all of this. Andy.
Rory, how are you?
I'm good. I hope you didn't fall asleep while we were doing our intro.
Two quick naps.
I'm telling you, on stage there, you are as alert as you could possibly be. I think you should be president. I really do.
Well, first things first, I didn't win America's Got Talent. That I advanced to the second round based on that performance. But I thought in the second round, the producers decide who goes to the third round. And I thought I was going to make it that far, but as it happened, I didn't. And you couldn't make it Michael Caine instead of Alan Napier. If you could go for an Alfred reference.
Michael Caine didn't have a mustache.
Yeah.
Alan Napier had a mustache.
True enough.
Don't go out wearing a bloody rubber bat costume. It's embarrassing.
There you
go. So when you and I worked together back in the late 80s in the Comedy Corner, I was just an up-and-coming comic. I was the house MC there. And
what city
you were
is it?
there. What's that? Tampa, Florida.
Okay, very good.
I'm gonna bring back a painful memory for you. Okay, because you were there and Stephen J. Moore was with you.
Oh, I bet I know. I think I know this story. Go ahead.
Yes, and Jeff Dix, who was the manager there at the Comedy Corner, didn't understand Stephen's humor. He didn't think it was funny. And he came to me at the back of the room. I'll remember this as clear as day. And he said, "What do you think of him?" And I said, "Well, he seems to be connecting with the crowd pretty well. He's doing all right." He goes, "I don't think he's funny." And I was aghast. And I was like, really? Because Jeff had never done this before. And he ended up firing Stephen J. Moore that week.
I remember.
You came up to me and you said, "Rory," you were livid. You said, "Rory, is Jeff Dix out of his fucking mind?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, first of all, who cares what Jeff thinks? Is the audience laughing?
The audience was laughing.
Well, then, Jeff,
the audience was having a good time.
Yeah.
At that time, this was just before Jeff Dix got fired, actually.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice timing, Steve.
That's another story. He evidently had given some substances to the amazing Jonathan a few weeks later. And again, Jeff was acting kind of weird that couple of months.
Yeah, I swear to God, that's what we thought.
Yeah.
We thought Jeff was wired that night, and that influenced his attitude.
So
life in the clubs.
Stephen was there for, I think, 2 or 3 days, and then the weekend they ended up giving it to somebody else. I can't remember.
I'll tell you exactly what it is. Tim, what's his last? He's from the South, and he sadly died. What was Tim?
Not Tim Wilson.
Yeah. It was Tim Wilson.
Tim Wilson?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that
didn't
very
remember
clearly.
that. Here all this time, see, I blocked that out because here all this time in my life, I've been saying to myself, "You've never worked with Tim Wilson," because I saw him in Atlanta at a competition. They did a improv competition about a year or two after that, and he was brilliant. I mean, I thought he was just hysterically funny, and I was just sad that I never got to share a stage with him. But evidently, he came in that weekend.
Yeah, he was there with his Israeli wife. And that didn't end well. We're talking about nothing but unhappy endings here, Rory.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, let's go back to happier times. So you grew up in Virginia, and you spent your formative years there, and then you ended up in Houston.
Yeah.
And that's where you are now.
Right. In between was a 3-year stay in Los Angeles. I went from Virginia to LA in the Comedy Store, then to Houston in the Comedy Workshop.
And that's the Andy Huggins that I worked with. That's him right there.
Oh, yeah. 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 Look
So
at that.
different look. A little bit of a different look.
Yeah.
So
And
in
there's
Houston,
Mr. Hicks.
and there's you with Bill Hicks, the
Yeah.
legendary Bill Hicks.
Yeah. Sweet guy. Great guy.
Yes. Yes. And brilliant. Just a brilliant comedian. The Outlaws of Comedy. There was the Comedy Workshop there in Houston. And Ron Schock, Riley Barber, Steve Epstein, Stephen J. Moore.
No more. No Stephen J. Moore. He wasn't.
He wasn't in that.
No, he wasn't. He was a part of the workshop.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't. The Outlaws were Bill and Ron Schock, Riley Barber, Steve Epstein.
Carl LeBeau.
No, he was a different. Jimmy Pineapple and me.
Jimmy Pineapple.
Carl LeBeau, there was a second incarnation of the Outlaws with Sam Kinison and Mitchell Walters and Carl LeBeau.
Mitchell Walters, yeah.
And Alan Stephen. And so there were two different Texas outlaw comics.
Okay. Well, and again, we just showed a poster of you. Jimmy Pineapple now has the Comedy Outlaws. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you're part of that.
Yeah, I'm a part of that.
So you're multiple outlaw.
Yeah, I'm wanted in several states.
So, let's go back to that time. That place is a liquor store now, I believe. The Comedy Workshop.
It was a dry cleaner. Now it's a liquor store.
Yeah. Tell us about what comedy was like back at that time when you were starting out and you were honing your craft.
I got to Houston in the workshop in '81, and back then in Harris County, which is where Houston is, there were probably at one time, mid '80s, half a dozen different comedy clubs.
Yes,
full-time comedy clubs. So there was a lot of stage time available, and you weren't going to get rich working those clubs, but you'd get your bills paid on those occasions. On those occasions when you chose to pay your bills, but so it wasn't bad. A lot of stage time. So it's all about stage time, as you know, Rory. Yeah. It's just about stage time, and you can go to classes, which can be helpful, and you can do this, you can do that, but you got to get on stage. You got to get right. The audience will teach you everything you need to know if you pay attention.
Correct.
If you pay attention, audience will tell you everything, including whether or not you're funny.
You're very old school comedy. I read in articles that you still every day you write new comedy, new jokes, new material.
Yeah.
And to test out, and this is the way it was. This is the way it should be.
Yeah.
So that you never run out of material.
Right. I was
fiddling
around.
Stuff.
Yeah, I was fiddling around with some jokes this afternoon.
There you go. So you just write them down in a notebook, and then you test them out in the audience. The next show you get up on stage.
Yeah, I was on stage last night and tried out 4 new jokes. I think 1 tanked, but the other 3 have possibilities. So next time I go on stage, which will be Saturday.
Now, will you give that tank joke a second chance, or are you just going to strike it?
It varies from time to time. Now, that particular joke, I probably won't. I wasn't that thrilled with it to begin with. I don't think. I mean, I liked it. I think it was a funny idea, but and I may give it a second shot. I'll put jokes that don't work, I'll put away and bring them back out. 3 months later,
maybe rework them.
Later. Yeah, I don't throw anything. Well, I throw some things away, but I keep an awful lot of jokes that don't work. And I give them a try later. I may give that one a try.
and you give them to the open micers.
I try and keep that those relationships at a minimum.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're performing in clubs around the Houston area. Do you go much farther than the Houston area, or?
I'm starting to. I headlined a club in Naples, Florida, about a month ago, and the week
wow.
before that, I was at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club in Las Vegas.
I saw that.
Yeah, I got a trip coming up here to North Carolina, and my manager's checking on something today, but hopefully I'll have a gig in San Diego next month. So it's starting to expand a bit.
So how has comedy changed from back in the days, of the Outlaws to what you're doing now as an outlaw, as a different outlaw?
I would say mostly topics and language have expanded. I guess you could put it that way. To everybody. I mean, not everybody, but so many comics are more comfortable talking on stage in an almost offhand way about certain topics that you never heard on stage before. And not that I come back from a squeaky clean era, but when I started in 78 and on forward, there was
I don't remember you working blue when I worked with them later.
No, I'll drop the occasional F-bomb, but not too often. If you took all my material, there might be 5 minutes that I couldn't do on late night television. For the most part, it's clean. But now, for the most part, it's not clean. And so that's changed. It's just people are more comfortable talking about certain topics and using certain language.
Well, it's not like you're going up on stage and doing Dice Clay type stuff. It's naughty, but it's, a lot of it is suggestive, it appears.
Well, a lot of it is very blunt and direct and anything but suggestive. A lot of some of the material, I suspect, would make Clay.
Maybe I saw the cleaner clips.
Yeah. No, it's I was at an open mic. It's part open mic, part prose, and it's dirty no matter how you define the word dirty. Did you? Oh, there we go.
So they are dirty grandpa.
It's and I haven't gotten any dirtier. Maybe like I say, I dropped the F-bomb a couple of times, but otherwise, clean act.
All right. Who's been your greatest source of support?
I have the greatest friends, and I'm thankful for them, and I give them thanks every night when I say my prayers. My friends, and they have supported me in so many ways. I couldn't even make a list of gratitude that I have for my friends. So they've been terrific.
Being a sports fan and being in the Texas area, Mike Vance, I'm guessing, is one of those friends.
Oh yeah, Mike's terrific. Terrific.
He's been on the show. And Slade Ham's also been on the show.
Yeah, Slade has been very supportive. In fact, Slade's entirely responsible for my special, because I hopped on Facebook one day, the Houston Comics page, and wondered out loud what it would take to produce a special. Well, Slade immediately, and I mean within minutes, got me on the phone. He says, "Here's what we're going to do. We're going to start a GoFundMe page. We're going to raise money, then we'll produce the special." Which he put together the GoFundMe. We got the money. He found the venue. He directed it. Did a terrific job. So yeah, Slade's very important.
Now
Good
that's the Early Bird special.
Yes, sir.
Your comedy special from last year, 2023.
Yeah, it was released in 2023. We taped it, filmed it in 22.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you get another one together, and if they haven't already named it this, you can call that one the Blue Plate Special.
Okay. My friend suggested we should call it the Artful Codger.
That fits. That works. in 2018, you decided to do America's Got Talent.
Well,
was this your idea?
No, they found me on the internet.
Really?
And as Renee said, the producer I talked to was intrigued by someone my age talking about sex. For some reason, people think it ends at age 60 or something. So he liked that. So he gave me a call, and conversations took place, and so they found me, asked me to do it. I said certainly.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't if you get an offer like that, right?
Well, they fly you out there and put you up.
So I watched one of the videos that shows Howie Mandel. He clearly recognizes you.
Yeah.
And he says, I remember performing this guy when we were 28.
Yeah, I met Howie in 81 out in, late, maybe 78. Yeah, 78. When he came to Los Angeles from Canada, he started performing at Westwood. So we knew each other then. And when he came walking through the backstage that show, he saw me and thought he knew me, but wasn't sure. But when he sat down at his desk and saw my name, oh yeah, of course, I know Andy. And then, as it happens, just about 6-7 months ago, Howie came to Houston to perform at a wonderful venue called Jones Hall, and I got to open for him there. So I had another nice visit with Howie.
That's awesome.
Like I say, about 6 months ago.
Again, you can see the wheels turning in his head at the beginning of that clip that we just showed.
Yeah,
like he's recalling, he's remembering. But I remember another clip a week ago where he actually speaks and he says, "I remember performing with you."
Yeah.
So that was
at the Comedy Store in Westwood, where.
I wanted to ask you about that. I think I glossed over it. Was it you made the trip to LA from Texas, as did a lot of the other guys. Please tell us how that went.
The AGT experience.
No, going out to LA from Texas
Initially?
to just try to make it.
I went there from Virginia.
Okay.
I wanted to be a stand-up, but I didn't know how to go about it because in late 1977, 78, there were no comedy clubs around. So where do you go? Well, I kept hearing about the Comedy Store on television whenever Carson or Merv Griffin would have a Comic-Con. You could see them at the Comedy Store. So little research and very little, but I did find out that they have a open mic there every Monday. So this was my grand plan. And against all odds, it worked out. Shouldn't have worked out. But I went out there with no money.
In Virginia previous to going out there?
A couple of times at a coffee shop.
Wow.
And I shouldn't have been encouraged based on what I did at the coffee shop. But I wanted to be a stand-up. So I went out to Los Angeles with what I thought was sufficient amount of money, not even close. But I did not know anybody, had no plan other than to go by the Comedy Store on a Monday night and do what material I had. I don't even remember what it was. But I got lucky, and on that first Monday night, and I don't even remember how they do it, if they pulled names out of a hat or whatever, but I got a good spot, did real well. They told me to come back the next week. So I have a full week, not knowing anybody in LA, just holed up in my hotel room. And so I went back Monday, and what they didn't tell me was that I was showcasing for Mitzi Shore, the owner. I didn't know I was doing that. I just thought I was doing another spot. And I got another good spot, and I did well again, and Mitzi made me a regular. So I got real lucky. If I hadn't gotten a good spot that first night, life would have been real difficult. But I've been lucky in a lot of ways. I've been blessed, as my friend Ron Schock would say.
So as a regular, I hope you don't mind me asking, how much did you make as a comic when you got to go up?
Well,
was it enough to pay the hotel room?
No, I had to get a day job. I had a couple of day jobs.
Oh,
initially, when I went out there, nobody got paid. Then we had the infamous strike, and some people started getting paid. And I didn't get that many spots. That's why I ended up in Houston. I wasn't getting that many spots. And when I got them, they were like $15, $25, maybe twice a month, something like that. So it wasn't a lot. But while I was out there, I met Bill Hicks, who came from Houston, and Jimmy Pineapple, who came from Houston, and Riley, who came from Houston. And one by one, they moved back to Houston. And one day, they called me up and said, Andy, and because I wasn't, I'd get a couple of spots, then I wouldn't get anything for a couple of weeks, a couple of months. And they called me up, Bill and Jimmy and Riley, and said, there's more stage time in Houston than you're getting in LA. And that's all I needed to hear. I moved to Houston, and I was getting, like I said, we had 6, 7 clubs in the immediate area, and something just fell.
Just put that down anywhere.
I and that's when I really started to develop because of the stage time. And like I say, you need the stage time, and you got to pay attention to the audience, and you got to learn from the audience.
So those guys that you mentioned, the guys that would eventually become the Outlaws of comedy with you, did they appreciate your act? Did they like the material in your act, or were you just a fun guy to hang out off stage, or both?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody liked my act. And it was back when I was drinking, so I was excellent company.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah. That was a good
I one word here written on my notes: sobriety.
Yeah. That was a good crew to do shows with and to hang out with. We had a lot of fun. Nobody laughed more than I did off stage, with Bill and Jimmy, Riley, Carl Falkenberry, and
Falkenberry. Wow.
Yeah, you probably crossed paths with him in Florida once or twice.
Oh yeah.
Funny guys.
Funny guys. All mentioned. So okay, let's talk about sobriety. It's been a long time.
It's been 36 years.
Oh, God bless you, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Had to be done.
I went through it was actually at the Comedy Corner that I realized that I was drinking too much. I was, I've told this story many times on the show. So I ended up actually going teetotal and stopping because I saw myself heading in a bad direction.
Yeah.
So
I could have.
36 years. Wow, that is awesome.
Well, I should have quit. I drank, I drank 20 years, then quit. Yeah. I could have quit maybe 10 years earlier. I mean, I figured I learned everything I needed to learn. I could have quit sooner than I did, but it happens when it happens. And
it's true. A lot of comics see it as a kind of a crutch. If I get loose on stage, the crowd will enjoy it more, and I'll sell more drinks. And so I just have the bartender give me a Coke with an umbrella in it, Diet Coke with an umbrella in it, and I drink up everybody.
I have a couple of friends that quit drinking, and that's what they did.
Yeah,
they go up with a beer bottle.
And people will buy you drinks too. So you got to tell the bartenders.
Yeah, you got to figure out. If you tell the bartender, if you're getting a drink from me, water it down and put an umbrella in it.
There it is.
Yeah. Good move.
Then send me a Coke.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. Again, I very I can't tell you that's wonderful. How wonderful that is. That
well, it has been.
you were able to do that, and you're living proof that it was the right decision.
Oh, absolutely. We certainly wouldn't be talking now if I hadn't quit.
Were there other auditions for other big kind of shows and things that didn't go as well as America's Got Talent?
No, I mean, I've participated in a couple of contests, did well at some. I did well in all of them, I think, but I didn't advance in all of them. So, I seem to be when I have an audition, I seem to be a money ball player, come through in the clutch. So, yeah, I've listened, not surprisingly, a lot of podcasts with comics, and everybody, you ask them, what's a disastrous show? What's a disastrous heckler? What's a disastrous condo? I don't have any horror stories. I mean, somebody, you ever get a bad heckler? Well, somebody yelled at me one time, and I told him to be quiet. That's all I got. Nobody ever tried to throw a punch.
It was easy.
Yeah, nobody, no fights has started. Nobody was waiting for me after the show. Nobody rushed the stage. Nothing interesting. Sometimes people heckle. You deal with it, and that's that. Same with I've stayed in a lot of bad condos, but nothing horrifying. The condo I remember in Tampa was fine.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember it being.
That was a nice 3-bedroom place to stay. Yeah. Nobody had to sleep on a sofa or a couch.
Yeah, exactly.
That was John Stahl. John Stahl was a class act. He was.
Yeah.
So let's flip it then. And what are some? I mean, you told a great story about going to LA, and even though the odds were against you, you had good luck. So any more stories like that where you?
No, again, that was a great example of ignorance is bliss. Because if I had known what was ahead of me, I mean, it was a stupid thing to do, and it worked out well. And that's a great example of good luck or a blessing, because it was absolutely stupid. I had no plan. If I'd just been a little bit patient, comedy clubs started opening in Richmond, Virginia, a couple other Virginia cities. If I'd just been patient, I could have started there. Or I could have gotten to Houston earlier. Houston had a comedy club back in '77, but I didn't know about that. So, no, again, when it comes to tall tales and hyperbole, I'm pretty much Tap City. I can't think of anything. The transition from LA to Houston was great, because I had so many friends there waiting for me and put me up and got me gigs, and then got me gigs outside of Houston. So that was a great transition, and again, blessed.
And again, it's always inspiring to hear people tell good things about other comics, and it's not a competition. You guys help each other out. I can't tell you. There was a couple of times, when there were comics that you would trash other comics, say bad things about their act, whether it's jealousy or they or what have you. They don't want to follow a guy who's stronger than them, or
right.
And I hate to hear that, and I hate having to have had experienced some of that when I was coming up. But in the late 80s, that's when Showtime and HBO were starting to run comedy specials, and that's when we had the comedy boom. The wave started in probably the mid 80s, and there were like you said, there was a dozen clubs in every town, or maybe 6 clubs in every town. And again, like you said, you could actually make a living. You could work and make a living touring, the comedy caravan or the comedy zones, or
Exactly.
even coconuts down in Florida here, and they would take you to places. That was something I wanted to ask you. Where have you traveled to because of comedy? Where's your comedy taken you?
Well,
Or
I'm sorry.
any exotic locales or?
No, not in a long while. There was several years ago. I went to Japan as a part of a.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, not USO. There's another entertainment service branch within the Army, and I forget what they're called. But that's as exotic, which is pretty exotic. But it's been a while.
Yeah.
MGM Grand is the most exotic place I've been to recently.
That's Garrett's, right?
I'm sorry?
That's Brad Garrett's club, right?
Yeah, I played that club. That was
Yeah.
that was terrific.
Was he there that week?
I'm sorry?
Was he there that week?
Yeah, he came on the weekends. It's a Monday through Sunday club. He had seen some of my clips on Instagram, so he told he told Cindy to book me, and he wanted to meet me. So
I want him in my club. Bring him in.
Yeah, exactly. And then he came by Friday and Saturday and opened the show. So yeah, real nice man. Terrific.
Yeah.
Great experience.
That's what I hear.
And no interesting stories. And no interesting stories for you. Sorry.
So, well, wait a minute. Hold on now. So you're in Vegas. Let's talk about another vice. Buffets. No, I'm kidding. Any gambling while you were there?
No, I used to gamble a little bit, but I'm not very good at card games. I love poker. I mean, it's just, you're sitting around with a bunch of friends, drinking beer back in the day and telling stories. I enjoyed that, but I wasn't a very good poker player. And, blackjack never interested me. So, yeah, no gambling. No gambling. Straight from the showroom to my hotel room. And,
you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, yeah, I'm a blackjack player, or I used to be.
Any good?
Not bad. Not great.
Okay.
Not bad.
Are you in Florida now?
I am. I used to. Well, my wife liked to take me to Macau. She's Chinese, so I lived in China for a while. And my wife used to take me to Macau, and people will bet over your shoulder if you're good. So I had a lot of people bet on me, which made me feel like James Bond, which was cool.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, I would gamble. I would just break even basically, but I would gamble all night. So
yeah,
that was fun. And
I would love to be good at it because it does have it's exciting and has a kind of romantic aura about it. Sitting around betting, anytime you risk money in a capitalistic society, you're a very daring and adventurous person. But I just can't do it.
So I'm jumping around a little bit because I can't ask you horror stories. It's what we do. It's what we do. But when you were in Virginia, and you said you wanted to be a stand-up comic. You said you watched Carson. You watched comics on late night TV, I guess.
Yeah.
So what motivated you to say, hey, I want that?
Well, I knew that was a very strong talent I had. I genuinely made people laugh. Friends, teachers in school, I just made, and I was fascinated by just the whole craft of comedy. I would watch sitcoms that I didn't even like just because it was a comedy and they were structuring jokes within the show. So I would watch. I was just fascinated by comedy. So given the fact that I loved it, given the fact that I had a talent for it, boom. And there certainly wasn't any other profession beckoning to me. So it was
where you could just make people laugh.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So was it? I would like to be famous. I would like to be a household name, or just
No,
you get in front of crowds and make people laugh.
I just wanted to get in front of crowds, and I wanted to write jokes, and I wanted to get in front of it. I wanted an audience, and then make them laugh. Yeah, fame would be wonderful, if only because that leads to more work, which puts me in front of audiences that I try to make laugh.
You brought up an interesting point. Some comics make a living writing comedy for other people, or writing comedy for other shows. Tom Ryan is a good example of that. He's been on the show.
Oh yeah, how's Tom doing?
He's good. He's doing great.
Yeah, good. I like Tom.
Tom is a very, very intelligent comic. So he's doing cruise ships, and he's doing he does a lot of writing for different shows and things, or he did.
Yeah, that's great. I like Tom.
Yeah, he's a great guy. So did that come into play at any time?
I thought about it a little bit. But Jay Leno used to accept jokes from the outside. You could, back when they had fax machines, I'm sure at some point they segued to email, but you could fax in jokes, and they would look at them and use them or not use them. And I had about 3 or 4 that he used, and I kept hoping, well, maybe this would lead to, an offer to be part of the staff. It never did, but that was that at one time there was that consideration to be part of a writer's room, but no longer. I don't.
Now the rumor was it would pay $50 if they used it.
$50 is exactly what they.
Okay, that was the rumor. I never sent one in. I did say. I remember very vividly when I was living in Tampa. This was around the time I was at the Comedy Corner, that I sent some scripts that I had written, sketches, and a videotape of me doing some of my characters and character voices and stuff to Saturday Night Live. And I got it back with a nice little brush off letter saying, look, we couldn't even look at this.
No, they can't, because if they did look at it, and then something similar turned up on the show, and then you could claim they stole it from you, even if they didn't.
Right.
So they just send it right back, and they don't want to be put in the position of being accused of.
Again,
thieving.
I was young. I was, I didn't know. I didn't know how the process worked.
Yeah, everybody's made that mistake, and received that letter. I was hoping this would lead to something. It never did, but a couple of years I sent in jokes to Robert Wool, who I knew, and at the time he was writing for the Academy Awards in Billy Crystal. So I sent some jokes to Robert, who presented them to Billy, and he did 1 the first year and maybe 2 the second year. And I was hoping that would lead to something. Didn't. Same $50.
Hey, you made $250.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
No.
Not too shabby.
Well, when you considered what the writing staff was being paid,
yeah,
if you have a couple of jokes on, I'm guessing the percentage probably should have amounted to more than $50, but it didn't.
Have you ever had times when you kind of question what the hell am I doing here? Why am I doing this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite often. Now, it's been a while since the last time, but 2 or 3. I never doubted whether I could do it. I had I was frustrated as to whether or not it was ever going to lead to anything substantial. I've had those doubts before.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten frustrated with the whole business of booking myself.
Yeah.
I mean, which I'm not good at. Fortunately, now I have a manager who is taking care of that, and I've done real well on TikTok and Instagram. Those got quite a few. I have 336,000 followers between the two, and that leads to work. That's leading to work. And they
right. TikTok, you have 150,000 followers.
Yeah.
And 2.5 million likes.
Yeah. And Instagram, even more followers.
Yeah.
About 185 or something like that.
So you are a social media platform master now.
Well, you know what the deal is, and again, more luck, but what I do, the one-liners, setup, punchline setup, lends itself perfectly to TikTok and Instagram. There's no need to set anything up. It's just straight stand-up. The jokes are great. They're quick. You can get 3 of them on in 30 seconds. So so it's
in the beginning on TikTok, it's just 30 seconds. That's all you get.
Yeah. So it's perfect for my style. For my style. And a lot of people have viewed it, and that's how Brad Garrett found me, and that's how the Naples Club found me. So worked out real well. Social media. At age 74, I'm on TikTok.
Which came first? Was it Facebook, then Instagram, or?
Yeah, Facebook I've been on since 2010, and TikTok and Instagram I got on 6 months ago.
Okay.
So
Instagram is it's Facebook again. It's like, okay, I've got this Facebook and I've got this Facebook, but for some reason it's a little more popular now because again they're looking at Facebook, I guess, as if, oh, that's old, and we always joke about MySpace on this show here. So Facebook has become MySpace.
Yeah, I don't know how to manipulate Instagram to my face. I don't know how to manipulate, if you can, the algorithms. I'll just post a joke.
Yeah.
I'll post a reel with a couple of jokes, and we see what happens. And
it works.
Yeah, that's how sophisticated as it gets. For me, I'm guessing there's other stuff
it works for you.
It is working real well. My manager, Tommy Barrett, is doing a great job keeping that updated.
So, YouTube. You've got a lot of stuff on YouTube. Was that all you doing that, or was that somebody else? And hey,
YouTube. I think it was usually somebody else, either a club. I did I did a set at a club, and the club posted part of it.
Or somebody was in the audience might have posted a clip. Yeah.
I don't think that's ever happened, but I could be wrong.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so.
So they were just promoting the club.
Yeah, the America's Got Talent posted clips on there, and I was in a contest, and that got posted on YouTube. So yeah, I haven't been at all proactive as far as YouTube goes. Now, I'm told you can watch the special on YouTube. I don't know.
Your early bird specials on YouTube now?
It's on YouTube, Apple TV, Google Play, and now it is on Amazon Prime, and it's moved out from behind the paywall. So if you have Amazon Prime as a part of your subscription, you can get it for free now.
Oh,
the others are behind a paywall, and again, I don't know how this works. Presumably, one by one they'll be released. I don't know. You can also listen to it on Spotify.
Well, there you go. And I hope you do a second one soon. I really do.
Yeah.
That was kind of leading into it. Well, first off, let me ask you about TikTok. How do you feel about that platform and what's going on there for you as far as creating your brand?
Yeah, I like it. For some reason, audiences find it fun. I end my show, I'll mention the the special, and then I'll say, here's something I never thought I'd say to any audience, but you can follow me on TikTok. And that the audience always thinks that's the funniest thing I said all night was this old man being on TikTok. Yeah, I'm happy with it. You know, it's made me. Yeah, when Comedy Dynamics bought the special, then they distributed it to the services I just mentioned. But when I was talking to Comedy Dynamics, I said, look, I want everybody to make a lot of money. I'd like to make a lot of money. But my primary goal, what I really want, is for as many people as possible to see me doing stand-up. I'm real proud of my stand-up. I think I do a terrific job. And I just want that to be the case. And in bits and pieces on TikTok and Instagram, and I don't know how many people, we haven't got the figures yet on how the special has sold to the different, we won't know that for another couple of months, I think. But thanks to TikTok and Instagram, it's people know, and it's been done in bits and pieces, but a lot of people watch all those pieces. And so now a lot of people, you know, like in the millions. I've had 7 different reels hit 1 million or more. So it's a lot of people know my stand-up now, which was the basic goal. And if we get any money out of this, so much the better. And the money comes not only from you know, people buying the special, but from leading to work.
Yeah.
So and that's money. So things in pretty good shape. It's been an odd arc, very odd arc. But you know, everybody has their own journey. And you know what's odd, Rory, is I'm 74 years old now. Really started kicking at age 70 or so. I have no guidepost I can look to. I don't know of anybody that's doing what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, with the approach I'm doing it. I can't. There's nobody I could call up and say, "Hey, when you at age 73 was just getting started, how did you?" I have no guidepost. I may be a guidepost for future.
Too late, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's never too late.
No, never too late. And, you know, if you love what you're doing, and I truly love stand-up, then it's never too late. No. You know, as long as you got, you know, a hold, a grip on your faculties, it's never too late if you love what you're doing. So, you know, and stand-up.
For one of my fondest memories of the Comedy Corner was when Henny Youngman played with us.
There you go. One of my heroes.
In the middle of his act, he told a joke the same joke a second time.
Yeah.
And then he turned to the audience and he said, "I was just making sure you were listening. I'm okay."
Yeah. I have done that before. And at my age, I think people assume I'm joking. That is part of, you know, being the old man that is forgetful or just lost. You know, it's easy to do. I mean, me and Henny Youngman work the same way in that set up, punchline, set up, punchline, set up, punchline. It's kind of easy, not easy, but it's not surprising when maybe you forget that, you know, 87 jokes ago, you did this joke. So,
right.
And if you've been doing that joke for 60 years, and I'm sure there's jokes he's doing that he's been doing that long. Did I do this joke tonight, or am I thinking of 1947?
Well, yeah, he went back on the road because he lost his wife. He just didn't want to be home alone all the time, so he went back out on the road. And God, I can't remember how many years he continued to do comedy. Comedy is one of those businesses you don't have to retire.
No, you don't even have to be. I mean, I'm perfectly prepared to be wheeled out onto stage as long as the mind's working. You know, Don Rickles at the end of his life was doing his act sitting down. Couldn't stand couldn't stand up or pace like he used to.
Ollie Joe Prater was a sit-down comic.
Yeah, yeah.
I was going to say, Renee, do you still have that PowerPoint presentation? There's a picture there I wanted Andy to discuss with me. The last one. It's your picture from your Facebook page.
Okay. Yep. Hold one.
It's, I mean, I think she glossed over the Mitch Hedberg picture too, which I wanted to show, but there's the Outlaws of Comedy, or the Comedy Outlaws.
Yeah.
And
that's the
last picture. I love this picture, by the way. It's fantastic. It's a great comedy
There's Mitch.
Character picture. There's Mitch. There it is. There it is.
Yeah, I was in a film, a short film, and I was playing somebody's butler. So that's what that
was. That Coming Out, or was that The Word?
The Word.
The Word. Okay. And it's like American Diogenes Club. I love it.
Yeah.
It's so perfect.
Yeah. And if I were to act, that's the kind of acting gig I want, is where I'm sitting.
Yeah, because that's long hours.
I want to be like.
I was going to ask you that. Would you like to do more film and TV?
No, that's not an ambition. No, but obviously it'd be silly to say never. I mean, a terrific offer. A terrific offer would probably tempt me, but that's not an ambition. The idea of going out on auditions and sitting in a waiting room with 12 other 70-year-old men, that doesn't appeal to me at all.
So these two short films that you did they just come to you and say, hey, we got a character that we want you to play? And that was it?
Yeah.
No audition? Oh, no. Funny.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So they came to your show and they just liked your stuff?
Well, the two of the producers were stand-ups, and so they knew me from the Houston scene. So that's how they found me. And the first one, I forget how that came about, but I sure as hell didn't audition for it. Now, I should say, for about 6 years, I kind of slacked off from stand-up, and I was doing a lot of theater work, acting in theater.
Oh, okay.
So there was a time when I enjoyed acting, and, I went out on this. I auditioned. I worked primarily for a particular community theater. So it was a lot of fun. And I actually wrote 2 children's plays that they produced. Yeah. So that was fun for a while. But then one day I called up my 2 best friends and I said, have I ever done anything better than I did stand up? And they both immediately said, no. They didn't think about it. Didn't make it. Well, let's see. It's one of these 3 things. Let me see. No, it was quickly. No. So I got back into doing.
So you got back into stand-up. Thank you, 2 friends who told him the truth. That's great. I did community theater, loved it, but you can't pay the bills with that.
No.
It's enriching. It's good to be part of an ensemble, but yeah. It's not like getting up in front of a crowd and rocking a crowd with your comedy.
Well, speaking of which, do you still do stand-up?
You know what? Since the pandemic, I haven't. I've just been doing the social media. I've been doing stuff on social media. I'm trying to take over TikTok by storm, and it's slow and moving forward.
Oh, okay, good.
So I could, if like you said, if I got proper representation. I did not like booking myself either. That's why I got out of the business. I didn't like living in a suitcase, and some of the people you got to deal with. I need an agent if I'm going to do that.
I tell people
about you. What's next for Andy Huggins?
Wait. He was giving advice. He was giving advice about agents. I want to hear the advice.
Oh, sorry.
What was that?
She said you were giving advice about agents. She didn't want me to stop you.
Oh. I don't. As far as that, I tell people you really need to love to do stand-up, because otherwise it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's not fun. Otherwise it'll drain you of.
I love being on stage.
Yeah, that's it.
I love
it.
being in front of the audience. I love doing my thing. I love people laughing. And that's my thing.
Yeah, I know a lot of comics who like to travel. That's good. And when they get to a city they've never been to before, they'll take a tour.
Yeah.
That's not me. That's not me. I don't like to travel, and I'm not big on visiting. The sites, and so I
You
get
can see the world's largest ball of string.
yeah. But yeah, the booking and the people you have to deal with. We touched on one situation where you're dealing with a club manager that can fire you on a Wednesday for no reason that's acceptable.
For no good reason.
Yeah, and then it's if you don't love stand up, if you don't love the time on stage, get out.
Yeah. I did love the time on stage. I did.
Yeah. But then you need to get back on stage.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Yeah, if you love
it. So what's next for Andy Huggins? Where can we find you in the near future?
I was talking to my manager today, saying, "Look, I'd love to do a late night TV show, and then I just want to work. Yeah, my ambitions don't extend to acting. Again, I'd like to do another special, and I just got road work.
What are some of the clubs you'll be at?
Well, let's see. I'll be at. I'm looking at a couple of Texas gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the Rio Grande Valley next week with Jimmy, as a matter of fact, in Harlingen and South Padre Island and New Braunfels. And I'm in Houston, a couple of shows coming up. Yeah. And like I say, I'm in North Carolina, but that's a corporate gig. There are 2 great rooms in Houston now, 3 great rooms, and I'm in the Riot. I'm at the Riot every Monday, along with other. That's the open mic professional show that they have here. That's a great room, the Riot and the Improv, and the Secret Group. That's good. So I'm at all those rooms from time to time. Outside of Houston, like I say, the Rio Grande Valley is next, and then hopefully San Diego in June. Hopefully that comes through. So
San Diego. One of our friends, Sandy D, who does another show on this network, is from San Diego. She'll probably come speak if you're out there.
Okay, very good.
Probably invite you to come on her show. When you see Jimmy, I've been trying to get him on the show to talk about the Comedy Outlaws and what that's all about.
Okay.
Tip in his ear for me.
Yeah, will do. I talked to him, was it today?
Yeah.
I talked to him yesterday for sure. I think I talked to him. I did talk to him today. And I'll be with him all next week. So very good. Very good. Yeah, I'll pass it along.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, well, we always try to have a good time with our guest.
Good.
And you didn't have to tell horror stories.
Well, you know what? If I'm going to be working more, which I am, and there'll be more radio, I really ought to just make some up. The condo that was haunted.
Be Mr. Positive. That's good. That's much better. I'll get more work that way.
Yeah.
All right. You take care, my friend. Thank you, Renee, for another
Renee.
episode.
Thank you. I learned so much, and I'm a big fan, Andy. I just love what you're doing. I'm going to watch the special tonight. I'm going to savor it, and I'll email you to let you know what I thought of it.
Okay. Thank you, young lady.
I love it. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you again. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you on the next Ditch Casual.